Hi, it's Lisa here with some tips for starting to put these practices together. I've been sharing some practices for you to use as you return to singing that you can use to build up that technique and get back into vocal shape. And I wanted to pause and instead of giving you a new exercise or technique, to talk a little bit about how you can start to build a warm-up and practice routine. And if you've been away for a while from your choir rehearsal or from your normal singing engagements, it can be sort of overwhelming. You know, it's like going back to the gym after a long time, and there can be a lot of emotions with it when we start to sing and open our mouths and the sound isn't where it was a year ago, and that can be sort of a challenging process, can lead us to maybe not start back a routine. So I'd like to challenge you, if this is you, to just start really small and go for short but consistent. Can you carve out 5 minutes, 6 to 7 days a week? Or 5 minutes twice a day, or 7 minutes, or something tiny like that, that's so manageable that you know you can make yourself do it. And can you go for that consistency? Because when our muscles and our neuromuscular systems are out of shape, when we've sort of forgotten in our bodies our best habits for singing, what we really need to do is check back in with that technique and remind the body of the things it knows how to do on a very regular basis, so that over time it finds its way to those sensations and those best practices and those best techniques faster and faster. And believe me, even myself as a professional singer, I have gone through some periods like that in this last year where there were no gigs for a bit and it wasn't a priority to practice and the world was so overwhelming, and then, oh my goodness, here's some music I have to learn. Shoot, the voice isn't doing what I want it to do. So you're not alone. Every singer I know has gone through this year. When we're getting back into this practice, it's also really helpful to think very small and simple with our goals, but to be sure we have the goals. So we talked about in a previous video, sort of warm up 1.0 is I'm doing my scale up and down by half steps and just sort of zoning out or checking my phone. This will not help you as much as being present and having some goals in those warm-up, sessions and in the technique work you're doing. So a really wonderful format would be in that 5 or 6 minutes to briefly check in with your body, do a quick body scan, a few breaths, just taking the nice low breath as best you know, to give yourself a chance to begin to move into making noises in a very comfortable and gentle way, using a hum exercise, some of those semi-occluded exercises like the lip trill or the tongue trills that I shared, just starting to make sound, sliding up and down without even pitches being required. And then to move into some sung sounds with the goal of freedom and ease. And yes, to take it down and up within a comfortable range. And if that range is a little bit smaller than it was a year ago, that's okay. It will build back, believe me, it will. And we'll talk about that more in a future video. So if you took those as like 3 goals, to check in with your body and your breath, to start to make sounds that aren't even necessarily pitched specifically in comfortable ways with hums and semi-occluded sounds and slides, and then to move into pitched sounds with a goal of freedom, using very simple shapes, using 5-note descending or 5-note ascending and descending, or a simple arpeggio 5-3-1, that will fill up your 5 to 7 minutes and will give you this sort of touchstone, this place where as you go over a couple of days and over a week, you'll start to probably find that you find your way back to that comfortable sound faster. You can mix in an onset exercise. That's a great thing to do too. But keeping it manageable. Don't feel like you have to jump into a really complicated rangy arpeggio or dexterous coloratura exercise yet. Don't worry about that. Just start with that check-in on a regular basis. And I really do challenge you, can you do it 6 or 7 times a week? If you do it 3 times a week, you will not see very much start to build back. You won't see that sort of muscular memory kick in as well. If you really can do it 6 to 7 days a week, I think you'll be impressed. And I'd love to know in the comments how it goes for you.